Caregiver needed in Canada. Yes, guys, you heard that right. If you're a caregiver or if you have qualifications in being a caregiver, then you might be able to move to Canada as a permanent resident in 2025. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to another video. If you guys are new here, please take that quick minute to hit that subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and leave your comments in the comment section. If you're a returning viewer, a returning subscriber, thank you guys so much for coming back to another video. Your presence is always welcome, but also take the same minute to hit that like button and leave your comments in the comment section. Now, on June 3rd, 2024, IRCC made an announcement that they are gonna be coming out with a caregiver program that allows caregivers to get permanent residency upon landing in Canada. Now, since that announcement, everyone has been waiting with bated breath as to when is this gonna be effective, when is this now gonna be launched, and a lot of people have been keeping their ears very close to the ground. On, I think somewhere in June, I did a video talking about the caregiver program, the ins and outs. If you haven't seen that video yet, please take a second as well. Go and watch.
To announce that we are launching new pilots that will provide permanent residency status for caregivers as soon as they arrive in Canada. The biggest change coming in these new pilots will be providing a one-step immigration process. Before, caregivers first needed to get work permits and then obtain work experience before applying for permanent residency. Under the new rules, we're simplifying the process and providing them with a clear, straightforward pathway to stay.
That's the video I'm talking about. So if you haven't watched it, take a second and go and watch that video. Now, we have good news. The program has a launch date. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the Home Care Worker Immigration Pilot Program. Now, again, as was discussed previously, back the latter part of last year, the government decided that they wanted to launch a program that allows caregivers who wanted to migrate to Canada the opportunity to migrate to Canada as a permanent resident if they're able to secure a job offer as a caregiver. Now, being a caregiver is multifaceted. It could be you're caring for the elderly, the disabled, for children with special needs, a number of different factors. Now, whilst the intricacy of the program is not yet finalized and advertised, that's not going to be done until March 31st, 2025, which is the launch date of the program. The program is going to be launched again March 31st, 2025. At that point, we're expecting that we're going to see a lot more detail of what is going to be entailed in the program. What specific eligibility requirements would one need to be fulfilled in order to be qualified to be a part of the caregiver program. What we do know is that you need your English test, your CELPIP or your IELTS, Canadian Language Benchmark it's called. Now you need a CLB score of at least 4, which is pretty basic if it is that you speak English. Then the other thing you're gonna need is you're gonna need the equivalent of at least an high school diploma Canadian standard, meaning that you have to have the equivalent of a Canadian high school diploma. And the next thing you need is a job offer. Now the job offer can be from a organization that provide full-time or even part-time care for persons, for residents. So that opens up a brand new spectrum sector for persons, or opportunity for persons who want to migrate, because no longer that you have to get a center or organization that provides full-time care, but you can get a organization that also provide part-time care for residents as well. Now, of course, the closer we get to March 31st, 2025, more details will become more clearer and a lot more information would then become more available. Now, there was previous care worker programs in the past, many of which closed last year, some of which closed in 2019, and so forth, so on. So the new pilot program is pretty much, I'm guessing, is intended to cover most of those programs that's already been closed. But those programs, you were required most times to work for up to 6 months to a year before you're eligible to apply for a permanent residency. And that's what makes this program so interesting, is because you're then able to apply for permanent residency upon approval. So sorry, upon entry. So as soon as you have your job offer, you have your language test, you meet the eligibility requirement, many of which will be announced by March 31st, 2025, then you can go ahead and submit your documents for permanent residency. That's what it means, which is exciting times. Now, how do you mitigate this program? It simply means that if you're a caregiver and you're interested in applying underneath this program, you need to start getting your ducks in a row, because it is speculated that there's only going to be 10,000 spots available. It's not going to be an indefinite number that everybody will get through. There's only going to be an intended 10,000 spots approximately available. So you want to make sure that as soon as the program launches, you are in a position to benefit from it. So what should you be doing right now if it is that you have intention to apply underneath this caregiver program? One, you need to get your English test done. But before I go continue, you're probably wondering, do you need to be in Canada to apply for this, or can you apply for it from outside of Canada? It doesn't matter where you are. That's the good part. If you're in Canada or if you're out of Canada, you are still eligible, right? So back to what you should be doing. You should be doing your English test. CELPIP, IELTS is the two most recognized Canadian language benchmark tests. So I'm going to go ahead and schedule those exams. Now, it's very useful to know that if you haven't already done those exams, there can be a waiting time for you to get that test done. So you want to go ahead and schedule a time to do that test. So if there's a waiting period, or if you're on a wait list to get that test done, it will be done before March 31st, 2025. The other thing you want to do if you have intentions of applying for the caregiver program is you want to make sure that you're getting your qualification assessed to match it back to Canadian equivalents. So if you have your qualifications from back home, it could be an high school certificate, it could be whatever diploma or certificate degree, whatever it is that you have, you want to make sure that you're getting those qualifications assessed by the governing bodies to make sure that it is on par with Canadian standard. Again, it's very important to note that those assessments usually take some time, up to a month, 2 months sometimes. So you want to make sure that you're starting that process even before the program launches. So it simply means that when the program launch, you would have been ahead of most persons already, because you would have had your English test and your qualifications already assessed. The other thing you want to be doing is to start making those connections with these homes, groups, organizations that provide care for residents. You want to start making those connections, looking for jobs, getting those connections done, so that when the time comes, you might have a job offer, you have your English test already done, you have your qualifications already assessed, and then the only thing you're doing now is to make sure that you are fulfilling the additional requirements that we don't know what those might be when that time comes, right? Now, it's very important, and this is a tip that I'll share with you guys, and I want you guys to just go ahead at this moment in the video and smash a like on the video. And if you haven't already subscribed, this is the point in the video where you take a quick second to just hit that subscribe button, because you know what, it really helps me out, and it's really free. And drop a comment in the comment section as well. Now, a lot of persons think that looking for a job is just sending out their resume. It's not that easy. If it was that easy, everybody would have been able to get a Canadian job offer or be able to migrate to Canada as a permanent resident. You have to be strategic, you have to be creative with how you apply for a job in Canada. Now, I share this tip with you guys. Make LinkedIn your #1 social media for connections and seeking persons of professional acquaintance, right? You want to start making those connections. So when you find an organization, like for example, you pick a city that you want to move to, like, hey, I want to move to Grand Prairie, or hey, I want to move to the big city. Your choice, it's your prerogative. You can move wherever you want to. Cost of living aside, you decide what you want to do. But you figure out the city that you want to move to. Next thing you're going to want to do is to start looking for those companies and organizations that provide the care that you are applying for. Send in your resume, but also connect with those persons within the organization on LinkedIn, and start making those relationships beforehand. That's a free tip right there, you know, guys. And that can make the difference between winning and losing. And for all the other immigrants in Canada who is probably a citizen or a permanent resident, or some of you guys are here as temporary resident as well, I bet you guys are like, oh, why are you sharing all these tips? You're giving away the secret. To bad mind and selfish. Information is there to be shared, and everybody can win. If somebody else win, it doesn't take away your blessing, it doesn't take away your winning. So we are sharing the tips that can benefit every single one, right? So go on LinkedIn and connect with those persons, and all the persons who have a problem with me sharing the tips and traits that can make persons win, drop asleep. That's what I would like to say. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you guys found value in it. If you found any kind of value from this video, let me know by subscribing. Let me know by hitting that like button. Let me know by leaving your comments. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I will see you guys in the next video.